When one door closes, Bashir has a message from Charlian. Kari, one of my clerks was just here with a message for you. The students of Baldeskia request your presence in Charlian at your earliest convenience. Indebted as I am to our friends, I am hoped that I too may be of service, but it is you alone they require. If you have no pressing business, please make your way to the Baldesian Annex at once. Akalo awaits your arrival. In the meantime, I shall continue to show Asdaya the city. From notable landmarks to people's lives, there is still much and more for her to see. Farewell for now, my friend. I look forward to the day we set forth on another adventure together. And thus ends the Void Cycle. A warm and hearty welcome to you, Kari. I gather you received our message. Please wait while I fetch Kryl and Graha. Thank you for coming on such short notice. And you'll forgive us for sending you for so soon after your trials in the Void, saying nothing against your grueling battle against the 12. Now then, we aren't actually the ones who requested your presence, but are involved. He stopped by recently, you see, and asked us to reach out to you on his behalf. For what reason? I imagine you're surprised as we are, given he was supposed to be away on a long expedition. Something must have changed the necessity and change in his plans. And all he would tell us is there was someone who he wished Kari to meet. He also mentioned he would be tending to some business at Studium. Shall we look for him there? Anvil's early return likely has something to do with the visitor. Who could it be, I wonder? Now then, where is Erenvol?
Erenville!
Good, I get the rest of my voice.
Apologies for the wait. I hope I haven't called you away from anything important. I chanced upon some commissioned items at my destination, so I thought I might deliver them.
Where did you go, if I may ask?
The New World. Tural.
You went to Tural? Then the person who you wish to introduce?
Aye, she hails from there. I present to you...
But it seems you've lost her.
Did she wander off?
Sorry. It's just so different here. I can't help but want to explore.
Well, while you were exploring, your candidate came to us. This is her, the adventurer you crossed the seas to meet.
Ooh, you weren't exaggerating. It's plain she's no ordinary woman. I'm Utlamat, claimant to the throne of Tulihuela.
Tulihuela.
It's Tural's governing nation. The capital bears the same name.
I'll get to the point. I want you to come with me to my homeland.
That was quick.
Given the magnitude of the request, perhaps you should explain why you're making it?
Of course.
A little high energy, isn't she?
Soon, an event of great import will be held in Tural. The right of succession, taking the form of a contest. It will determine who next ascends the throne. As daughter to its present keeper, I will participate. And I have I was searching for champions to join me when Erenville told me about you. A mighty warrior who knows no fear, who sweeps aside terrible fiends as if they were reeds, who flew to the edge of existence and saved our star.
Yes.
She asked who Eorzea's greatest hero was, and so I told her. Much more elegantly, I might add.
You said a lot.
Now you know why. You'll come to Tural, yes?
Wait, let's all just slow down. Wooklamat, was it? You claim to be of the royal family, but is it not the Mamulja who rule in Tural?
Tulihyolal is a nation of many peoples. Not only the Mamulja, as some across the seas are quick to assume. That said, its present ruler is a Mamulja, and one blessed with two heads beside. He's also my father. Not by blood, obviously, but he raised me as his own, and that's what matters.
So that is the way of it. My apologies if I was indelicate.
Hardly. I know little about your land, and nothing about your parentage. But in my eagerness, I've gotten ahead of myself. I can't expect you to agree on the spot when we've only just... If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Just know, though, that if it's adventure you seek, you could do far worse than come with me. Now, this is only a rumor. But apparently, the contest will involve the fabled city of gold and the legendary beast, Valyarmanda. Tell me that doesn't pique your interest.
Golden City. I've heard about it before.
So the tales have reached even these shores. I can't help but feel proud.
I advise you not to put much store by these rumors. Golden cities are not but a dreamer's fancy.
Says the dreamer who was bent on finding one when he was a child. Just because you failed doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Tulihyolal and the Golden City. Just like in the letter to Grandfather.
Regardless of what the contest may entail, it'll be no simple thing. If I'm to triumph, I need a capable and dependable companion. So let's go on a hunt together. There's no better way to get acquainted.
Right now? She's quite energetic, isn't she? Yeah, you catching the warrior light off guard a little bit. Journey to Tural. That's the long and short of it. At the very least, I ask that you go on this hunt of hers and take her measure for yourself. So wed to our hunt. The stronger the prey, the better. The game is afoot. Rahatia appears to be equally parts bewildered and excited. The chance to see not only Tural, but the fabled golden cities aside, this is the stuff of grand adventures, my friend. Which, not to say you should hastily accept its invitation, mind. There's a great deal we still do not know. Let's start first by getting acquainted with our visitor in the manner she suggested. I am not certain where a suitable location for her hunt, however. When I was at the guild earlier, I learned of a petition from the researchers on the island of Ham. You were there not too long ago and cooled some unruly fauna, of course, but according to recent reports, the ordinary docile fauna has grown savage. It is believed they've been unsettled by some manner of predator, so the researchers seek assistance with identifying and dispatching it. Part of your hunt? Perhaps that may answer the petition. The island isn't far, and we would be helping those in need. That works for me. As you know, I've honed my skill against some of the fiercest beasts in Tural. Whatever this creature is, it'd be able to put up a proper fight, or it'll be ended before we have a chance to get acquainted. Aaron pulls his coat like, why me? And before we can prove ourselves capable and dependable companions... My apologies, but I must see to some preparations. Please go on ahead to the Isle. I shall join you as soon as possible. What's she up to? The rest of you are ready. Let's head to the harbor. This being a guild ship business, it should be simple enough to secure a vessel. That accent is going to kill my voice. I got a whole expansion with these people. Royal was acting a bit strange, don't you think? This is just a simple hunt. I wonder what preparations you need to make. We have loan of a ship from one of the captains, a cheery fellow. I can operate the vessel, so we don't need to trouble him to take us. So we have a ship. Ugh, I barely set foot on dry land. Oh well, I suppose it's good cause. A hunt. Come on, let's get going. Upon boarding the ship, so... Alright. Okay, so this is going to be a longer one. Let us get started then.
From here, we must walk.
So much ice. It rivals even Yoktural. Oh, a white bear! I wonder what it tastes like.
Remember, we're here to deal with creatures that have been deemed an unacceptable danger. Do not attack anything else unprovoked.
I know. So this is the Isle where ether literally bursts forth.
Aye, the Isle of Ham. The geysers lie deep inland, however.
You really are knowledgeable. Kona told me nothing about this place.
I doubt your brother managed to come out this way. He's like to have toured facilities like Labyrinthos, however.
The great big cavern under the city. It's amazing that they could make a sky down there complete with a sun.
This brother of yours, he has been to Sharlayan?
He has. Kona's my second older brother, and until recently he was a student in the city. He went on and on about technological amusements. It made me want to come here too one day. And so I did. I think I understood something of how he felt when I set foot in his beloved studio.
He went to the studio? Your brother must be quite a scholar. But I wonder, like you, he'd be royalty, yes? With such a personage coming to Sharlayan to receive an education would surely have caused a stir, yet I recall nothing of the sort.
He consulted with the head of the studium beforehand, that his identity might remain secret. Being Mikote, he had no trouble blending in. He's adopted like me, you see.
He must be the Makote then on the Dawn Trail character poster they showed us at FanFest.
One time, though, he almost let it slip to a professor. It was all he could do to parry the barrage of questions.
Having no shortage of questions myself, I can imagine.
Ask whatever you like. I don't mind. But I maintain hunting together is the best way to get...
Interesting to me, anyway.
The researchers should be up ahead. Let's find them and learn what we can.
So she has a second older brother, and I bet that's the Mamulja on the poster as well. I bet it's a three-way contest. Sign of search your prey.
The researchers should be just ahead. There. The building to the northeast.
So, ordinarily harmless creatures have grown savage.
Don't know what's got them riled up, but I'll take down any that think to try me. Let's hunt our fill.
Look! Someone's in trouble!
Yeah! Taste my ass!
Animals are usually so docile.
Thank goodness you come. I take it you're the ones who've answered our petition. Wait, are you? You are Kari, the inventor who saved our star. Would this meeting be under better circumstances? I was conducting a routine inspection of the transport here when I found myself surrounded. You'll find more of the same across the chasm, once docile animals growing strangely aggressive. My colleagues can tell you more. If you give me a moment, I can finish checking our equipment.
You really are famous.
More or less, in a sense.
And for good reason, as you'll soon see for yourself.
Give me far too much credit. There we go.
Quite an interesting contraption you've got here.
Is that our petitioner? Let's go and have a chat.
If you come to answer the petition, you should speak with my colleague here. The adventurer comes to answer my petition, I presume. We are fortunate to have one of your considerable skill here to aid us. Creatures of unknown origin have been sighted on the island in recent days. We believe their presence has affected the local fauna. The animals in this gate are worst affected we've encountered thus far, though we dare not go back. Your task is to quell any threat you find. Search for the trace of the beast responsible for all this. Should you find anything at all, we would be grateful if you share it with us.
I'll handle this. Is that all?
Got a lot of bite
Let's
to her.
pick up the creature's trail.
You find the ravening beast's remains torn to shred by sharp talons.
These claw marks. I've seen their like before. It's starting to feel like a proper hunt.
Scattered plumage. You find feathers scattered across the ground. There were signs of a fierce struggle.
Feathers. But did they belong to the predator or the prey?
So, how do you prefer our prey? Roasted or raw?
You presume it's even safe to eat?
Clouds stench of French leavings assail your nostril. Whatever the beast left them, it's still likely still close by.
Still fresh. Whatever this beast, it cannot be far.
Do you suppose they're upset because they're gone?
They're spoiling for a fight. Hey, got one.
Let's head back and report what we found.
Agreed.
Powerful wings and razor-sharp talons. Worthy prey.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
What is that thing? It speaks?
Giant colibri?
It's heading towards the falls.
I'll stay with the researchers. The creature, I leave to you.
Come, Woklamat.
Right. Just so we're clear, I wasn't startled by the beast earlier. It caught me by surprise, that's all.
Forgive me, but I failed to see a difference.
I'm getting hungry. Let's be done with this so we can eat. Think you're clever, huh? I'll rip off that beak and roast you on a spit!
All right. Duty commenced.
Although you like bird, I'm going to have the last laugh. Oh, joy sinking my teeth into you. Ah, shut up already, you blasted bird!
was too close.
Ready now?
Spread out, everyone!
You'll pay for that. Thank you. That was hardly a trick.
I'm sorry, that is one ugly core we.
That's nothing to it. We have you now, you loudmouth bastard!
Duty complete.
And I had barely limbered up.
It was a terrible foe, but no match for your axe.
Only to be expected.
Not a braver front that she actually has, isn't she?
You were pretty impressive yourselves. I was right to invite you on a hunt. But what a curious bird that was. Though we have similar in Tural, they don't grow so big or use such dirty tricks.
Dirty tricks? Dirty tricks?
Aye, dirty and despicable. Otherwise, I could have easily...
Leave this to me.
What? What on earth was?
Cryo?
I am terribly, terribly sorry to have kept you all waiting.
How many times did she use that line?
She arrived as I was seeing the researchers to safety. It was all I could do to keep up with her after I explained what happened.
So this is what you meant by seeing to preparations?
After hearing of the contest, I thought how wonderful it would be to join you. In coming here, I wanted to demonstrate my skill at arms to Wuklamut. Alas, it seems I missed most...
That was amazing! The piece didn't stand a chance!
I'm glad to have been of service.
May I ask what inspired this change?
You will recall the time you descended to the ethereal sea in search of Hydaelyn. Recognizing that my skills were... inadequate, I chose to provide support from afar, rather than join you. It was the same when you set forth for Ultima Thule. How it pained me to stay behind, again and again. That's what inspired this change. Ever since the final days were averted, I've used every spare moment to hone my craft. As you all have adapted your methods to suit the circumstances, I started by considering how I might best contribute. And after much deliberation, I arrived at my answer. With the esoteric art passed down by the legendary Archon Realm.
Archon Realm? Archon Realm, really?
As I recall, you have embraced versatility to effectively complement a certain someone's style. What I do is much the same. Like you, I don't want to be left behind.
Indeed. I must say, you appear to be especially keen on being involved in the ritual of succession. Is there any particular reason?
Yes, there is. This letter from Tuli Yolal. It was addressed to my grandfather Galuf, and turned up among the students' archives. The ink was faded, so I couldn't fully make out the sender's name. Galul, someone.
Jaja. Gulul Jaja. That's my father, the Dawn servant. What does the letter say?
While much of it isn't legible, it appears to be a request to investigate the Golden City.
A request to investigate the Golden City? From the Dawn servant himself?
Well, well. Seems it may be more than a rumor after all.
Being a member of the royal family, it was my hope that you could confirm the authenticity of this.
I can say for a fact that my father didn't write this. Given how culturally diverse Tuliyollal is, it was decided some time ago that a common language was needed. But instead of elevating an existing tongue and its speakers above all others, we looked to those widely spoken overseas and created an altogether new one. The similarities to your common tongue also make it quite easy to communicate in these situations, no? This letter, however, is entirely in Eorzean. If Father had written this, he would have been in Turali. And what's more, it bears a wax seal. We don't bother with them.
So the letter is fraudulent, then?
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. My father's signature is genuine, as far as I can tell, so perhaps he simply dictated it.
I see. Oh, thank you for the confirmation. It seems I can't help but be curious as to what exactly he was doing there. In order to help us decide on a course of action, would you mind if I asked you some questions about your home?
By all means. After all, learning about one another was the purpose of this hunt. We can talk while feasting on this fellow. I, for one, am starving.
We're eating that.
Why not, Graha? You've eaten stranger things at this point. Thanks to Wu Lamek. I'm gonna have a hiccup. Lamet. It's Lamet. Wook Lamet. Sorry, my cat is vomiting on the floor. Bear with me for just a moment. The joys of having a cat of senior age. Anyway, back to where we were. Now we know who sent the letter to grandfather, among other things, but many questions still remain. I understand Corral's feelings all too well. Desire to do one's part. It can be daunting to try to keep up, but nothing will change unless we take the first step. Ah, what an exciting hunt that was. Now it's time to savor the reward. With the wildlife pacified and the researchers safe, our task is complete. That leaves the matter of the Corporal meat. Better or worse, the only place we can really take it here in Charlian, the last stand. Come on, let's see what Dickon can cook up for us. Well, now there's a familiar face if I've seen one. What can I get you, Hikari? Something Corral meat. Oh, bird meat from a hunt, you say? Leave it to me, I have just the recipe. A new dish I recently learned from sailors, and for you, Laud, it's on the house. Have as much as you like, you hear?
Come, come. Let's enjoy the bounty of our first outing together. I'd heard that Charlian cuisine was terrible, but this is fantastic.
What is this? Oh, it smells... spiced?
Oh, come now. Since when did you become so soft? It's not like we don't have spicy food in Tural, too.
According to Dickon, intensely hot dishes have become popular in Razadhan after a traveler ordered a curry with several times the usual amount of spice.
Oh no. Did he give him Zero's curry? Oh no.
So he started offering the same in order to please the growing Harnish population here in Charlian.
Oh no. Oh, Zero's dish?
It's nothing I can't handle.
Well, considering that same curry nearly killed an entire establishment, I think you're fine.
Your boorish manners reflect poorly on the both of us. I wish you would consider your station.
I swear, sometimes it feels like you open your mouth only to criticize.
Would I be correct in assuming you've known each other for a long time?
Aye, thick as thieves since we were little.
I beg to differ. She is a long-standing acquaintance. Nothing more.
I see.
All this time you were from Tural. Oh, would that I had known sooner. There's so much I'd like to ask.
You and everyone else. I've kept it quiet so as to avoid the endless interrogations.
Well, if he's going to be a miser, I'll be happy to tell you about our homeland instead. Since ancient times, many peoples have called Tural home, and they've been fighting each other for nearly as long. The fighting finally stopped some 80 years ago, when the reigning Dawn Servant unified the disparate communities and founded a new nation.
And that's how Tuliolal came to be.
Since then, we've enjoyed an era of uninterrupted peace. But my father is getting old, and he wishes to relinquish the throne to a worthy successor. One who can preserve his legacy. Including myself, there are 4 claimants to the throne.
Okay, so there are 4.
But while we all have the right to participate, one among us cannot be allowed to rule.
A man who is too ambitious by half. Word of the Garlean Empire's collapse has reached Tural. While most are simply relieved, he sees weakness to exploit and would lead our armies across the seas on a campaign of conquest.
After everything my father has done to give us peace, he would drag us back into war. I can't allow it. No matter what, I must win this contest.
I understand your reasons. But this being an event that will dictate the course of your nation's future, is it appropriate for outsiders like us to be involved?
Oh, it's more than appropriate. The Dawn Servant himself expressly encourages it. The ruler of Tural must navigate the intricacies of myriad cultures, and there's no better way to prove oneself qualified to do so than to work with foreign allies. That's why I sought you out. Through our hunt, I've confirmed that you're a warrior of considerable skill, but more importantly, one of good character as well. And so I ask you, will you lend me your strength and help me win the throne of Tulihualal? You don't need to decide right this moment. But I will need you if I'm to triumph over the competition. I'll stay here as long as I can while waiting for your answer.
In that case, allow us to prepare a room for you at the Baldessian Annex.
That's very kind of you. Oh, and one more thing. Once we finish eating, would you mind if I...
Be my guest. Judging by Lumok's reaction, it appears to Leon Consine isn't excessively fiery. Whether Luke Wak Lamat has the marking of the ruler, I cannot say. But I knew she deeply cares for her nation and her people. Read dragon, not spout off thing. Whether you choose to help her, though, is for you and you alone to decide. Think on it well. Now then, it's past time I report our mission success to the guild ship. I would have done so sooner, except her highness needed to have her royal meal. I shall come by the annex later. Till then. Grahati is mulling over what you've learned about Wuklamat and her plan, the coming dawn. Well, I dare say we have a fair grasp of Wuklamat's situation. Still, you've been afforded time to consider her invitation. Why not use it to learn more about Tyrol? The Noman is bound to have some information on the continent. It certainly wouldn't hurt to be better informed. Quite right. Now, not only would it help you make an informed decision, but if you choose to go, it'd be better prepared for what awaits. Come on, my friend, let's off to the archives. Principle of blue magic and spell acquisition. The origin of blue magic can be traced back to the esoteric practices of the Walqui, tribe in the distant continent of Tyrol. The tribe holds nature in the highest and in seeking to cultivate a spiritual connection with it has learned to harness the power of the wildlife around them. In exchange for teaching common tongue, I was permitted to live among them and train in their ways. Those days were some of the most grueling I remember, but they were tremendously rewarding. For instance, I had the privilege of visiting Lapis Canyon, which is the tribe's sacred grounds. It's named for the cerulean deposit that welled up to the surface, turning the entire canyon a brilliant blue. With the shaman's watchful eye, I managed to master the Wickley's art, make animals' powers my own. Though no name exists for it in the common tongue, I took the liberty of naming it blue magic. The reason I chose this color, as you'll doubtless glean, is for the significance it holds to the Wickley. I cannot think of a name more fitting to honor the people of whom this noble magic was born. Which is all information we know from the Blue Mage quests, though that just kind of expands on what we already know about it. History, geography, botany, the public archives alone should be sufficient to provide solid grounding on Tyrol. Unblemished book. It's impossible to adequately discuss Eorzean cuisine without speaking of the land which many of our modern staples hail, the far western continent of Tyrol. Ogre pumpkins, ruby tomatoes, even the ubiquitous popoto, these crops and more that regularly grace Eorzean dining tables trace their origins back to the New World, as the place is known to most. The tale of this culinary migration began in year 1498 of the Sixth Astral Era, when a Leminson sailor named Kentenram successfully traversed the Indigo Deep and arrived at their therefore unknown continent. Kentenram spent many moons exploring inland. Of course, he encountered the denizens of the sprawling nation of the Mamal Jah. He was even granted an audience with their supreme leader, whose confidence he won, along with the permission to roam freely. Kentenram would return to Tyrol several times, and during his first expedition, he charted the island, gathered mithril root vegetables and seeds, and brought them back to Limsa Lominsa. The most notable of these was the popoto, which ease of cultivation and nutritional value saw it spread across all corners of Eorzea. Produce was far from the only bounty that Kentenram's expeditions to Tyrol. Many tantalizing recipes, such as bean-filled burritos, and gripping legends, such as those of the Golden City, had reached shores by the way of his ship. To those outside of Kentenram's circle, Tyrol largely remained in mystery, and its influence on our cuisine cannot be overstated. Many scholars, myself included, relish a chance to immerse themselves in the culinary culture of the faraway continent. Food says a lot about a culture. It really does. It says, you know, what's available to them and what they tend to value as far as flavoring and stuff. Faded tome. Every land is giving rise to unique wildlife, and the continent of Tyrol is no exception. Yet while some of our creatures have some familiar sights in Eorzea, many and more exist that are rarely seen down this side of the Indigo Deep. This tome contains several variations of species described in the testimonies of sailors and adventurers. Alpaca, accustomed to Tyrol's craggy mountain ranges, these four-legged beastkin have been domesticated for seemingly hundreds, if not thousands of years. Their soft white fleece is highly prized by weavers, and their strong legs and sturdy footness makes them capable beasts of burden. Wyvern. This fearsome scaled skin is native to the dense jungles of Tyrol. The Mamal Jah have successful in taming them and utilize their prodigious strength for manual labor. Given their immense size and power, it should be no surprise that the Wyvern is also employed as a siege beast. Enemy fortifications cannot last long against this horned brute's rampage. Not like Amanda. Tral folklore holds this bird-like creature as the mightiest of beasts and embodies in the very embodiment of nature's power. Whether it exists beyond myth, however, is uncertain. Okay, we got one more book here. Leather-bound book. Let us begin by comparing the geographic characteristics of the three great continents of Troll. The former stretches from east to west and lies entirely within the northern hemisphere. In contrast, the latter extends far from the reaches both north and southern hemispheres, and a difference is immediately present itself in the form of climate variation. As shifts in climate tend to be gentler when moving from east to west, but harsher when moving from north to south. Owing to this fact, a longitudinal migration is far more common in history, whether by men, animals, or plants. A case in this point is the Alligans, who rose to power in Andorral before advancing east into Islabard. Their movements would mirror thousands of years later by the Garleans. Meanwhile, although the desperate tribes of Tyrol waged war with one another for generations, stimulated by the climate, none could make any great headway north or south. Tribes hailing from the frozen lands, where beneath the desert sun, while those that thrive in the open plains could not pierce the dense jungle. As such was the way of it, until a leader of the Mamuja succeeded in bringing the continent under one banner. Given the land's divided history and reason therefore, one cannot help but be in awe of this feat, truly a testament to the Autric's greatness. Having pursued a wide selection of books related to Tyrol, you are somewhat better informed about your potential destination. Rahatia will be eager to learn what you've discovered. If you wish to read these books again, speak with the reference page. Okay. Scoured the library to your satisfaction, have you? Excellent. While there are a few books wholly dedicated to the subject of Troll, I dare say you found a few tidbits of useful information scattered here and there. But come, let us continue this outside. The mammoths do not take kindly to chatter. Well then, I'm quite keen to hear your honest impressions. I couldn't help but notice when we were reading the very same book on cuisine, I was pleasantly surprised to find reference to Tuliol within. Among them, did anything pique your interest? Which I had taken with the tale of Kindaram. Ah yes, the renowned Lamencian explorer that transferred the Indigo Deep and discovered the unknown West. In his accomplishments in Nair, he traveled to Grawl extensively and even forged a friendship with the Dawn Servant. If we were able to meet Kindaram, what things we could learn. Alas, all this happened nigh 4 scores ago. He may no longer be alive to tell his tale. But moving on, did you perhaps learn of the fauna of Tyrol? Given your adventure background, I would expect that topic would interest you. I learned about Valagamanda. Now, why do I get the impression you're imagining pitting your skills against the fell beast? Unfortunately, I found scant detail on your would-be prey. One source simply described it as an enormous winged creature with scales as hard as steel that rules the skies. I'd like to see it with my own eyes, presuming it even exists. I thought I heard familiar voices. Hello, Alfredo Alize. Fancy running into you two here. Well, well, having some research of your own, do you? Aye, we hoped to arm ourselves with the knowledge that might benefit the Garlean people. Having forged a new trade agreement with Razahan, they look to foster relations with other nations, including former imperial providences. In view of this, we hope to find hints in history how neighbors of differing races and ideologies might engage one another. One of you two, what endeavor brings you here this day? This and this, that and that. For all this and this. A nation composed of the desperate people of Tyrol. I dare say this is precisely the kind of example we seek. We do well to read upon Tuliol ourselves. This contest, is Kari the only one allowed to help Wuklamat? There was no mention of any such restriction. On the contrary, Wuklamat gave us the impression that she could have several champions. I think I have to know what to make most of our respite. Follow me off, Alphino. We have planning to do. Oh, Alize, wait! To seem our plans have changed, if you'll excuse me. They could never rest on their laurels. Come on, let us return to the annex. I kinda wondered when they were gonna bring those two in. And how. Okay, off to the annex. You seem distracted.
Oh, it's just... Despite all that we've learned, I can't help but feel we've yet to hear the whole story. What about you, my friend? Are you inclined to accept or refuse Wuklamat's request?
I never say no to a new adventure.
Ha! I thought you might say that. With an intrepid attitude such as yours, I believe all shall be well. Be it the contest or something else, there will be many trials for you to overcome at your destination. But in the course of seeing new lands and meeting new people, you'll surely find a way forward. That's what adventurers do, is it not? Such a journey would be the envy of many a scholar. Distant as it is, Tyrol remains largely unknown to us, with only meager records to be found in Numenon. The experiences to be had, all the things you might hear, feel, and think. It's enough to stir me to the core. Life is a series of journeys, my friend, and there's no telling what awaits us on the long road. But what's important is to be true to yourself as you walk it. Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at the end of one and step forward into another. Ah, but there's an idea. I have a matter to attend to at the Agora. Please, go on inside. I will join you shortly.
What is he up to now? The New World. Tyrol. I must see it for myself. Oh, hello, Thancred. Welcome back, Kari. If you're looking for Will Lamont, she's currently with the others in her chamber. If you like, I can go fetch them for you. Understood. Please wait in the main hall.
You have the look of someone who's made up their mind. Go on then. Let's hear it.
I've never been one to turn down an adventure. I'll do it.
Excellent. You'll be compensated for your troubles, of course. But I dare say your time in Tyrol will be its own reward.
You're not planning to leave without us, are you? Alphano, Alize! What are you two doing here?
We happened to cross paths at Numenon earlier, you see, and I told them about Wooklamat. And when we fortuitously met again at the Agora just now, they expressed an interest in meeting our visitor.
Ah, you must be the twins who are sneaking after Erenville as Toad.
100 things about us you could have told her, and you chose that.
First impressions last.
'Tis an honor and a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Highness. Alphano Leveilleur at your service, and this is my sister Alize.
Oh no, let's not do that. I really can't stand titles. So, you want to participate in the contest too, is that right?
Indeed we do. We've been assisting with the rebuilding effort in Garlemald. Yet while progress is being made, the question remains of how the nation might reconcile with its neighbors. We believe there is much we might learn from Tuliolal, a nation founded on unity. And in return for this honor, we would spare no effort in supporting your claim.
The more the merrier, I say. And I'd be keen to learn about Eorzea and Garlemald from you as well.
Having recruited so many committed and capable allies, I presume...
Nonsense! Like I told you before, you're indispensable. They're strong, aye, but strangers to our land. They need someone to guide them, to point out the dangers, and spare them grisly death. I can't think of anyone better suited to that task than you. What's more, despite your assertions, I know you haven't given up on the City of Gold.
You're stuck with us.
As I recall, Kryl, you were the first to state your desire to visit Tyrol.
Perhaps I was. Still, I can't help but worry about being away just when our...
You have nothing to worry about. I haven't forgotten how you held the fort while I set off to explore Alzadal's legacy. It's only fair that I return the favor. Pray, leave.
But, Ra...
You want to retrace your grandfather's steps, don't you? This is a rare opportunity, and I insist that you seize it.
Thank you, Raha. Thank you.
Well, looks like it's settled. I'm counting on you all to help me win the throne.
I suppose now is a good time to show you what I spent a small fortune on at the Agora. There. This, my friends, is the latest map of the world, created to celebrate our friendship with the Loperids. Cast your eyes west of Sharlayan, for there it lies. The site of your next great adventure, Tural.
And that's the end of Endwalker. Alright. Time to wrap up the closing out cutscenes for this. Lest you wonder about your passes, Thrall, Arenville will arrange a ship through his guild. You need only worry about your own preparations. Speaking of which, take this with you, a rugged and ready knapsack. May it serve you well in your coming adventures. Now, I'm not sure when departure will be, but rest assured I'll let you know when I hear something. Till then, please take your ease. Now it ends. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Well, Limsa Laminsa.
When does the next ship set sail?
May I ask your destination?
The north and east, I've already seen. I suppose I'll head west this time.
West, you say?
And he's off to Thrall as well. Meanwhile, in old Sharlayan.
I see you've made up your mind. I had a feeling you'd be keen.
But to think that our comrades too are thither bound. Fate doth work in mysterious ways.
Indeed. It will be a grueling task, having to contend with them.
If the prospect doth trouble thee, 'tis not too late to decline the petition. Though thine expression would suggest thou art far from perturbed.
Oh, how could I possibly be, knowing what's to come?
Then let us delay no further and secure passage on a vessel.
Aye. This will be a mission to remember. Come, my friend. We make for Taral.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? Or the treasure islands beyond the frozen waters of Blind Frost in Offerd's north? The fabled golden cities of the New World?
I will see it for myself. You can count on that. Weigh anchor now, for tide is high, and dawn of new adventure nigh. Row forth to break horizon's bond, and tread the gilded path beyond. And story end.